Hey everybody, welcome to Falcon Plays Better Late Than Dead. If I'm correct here, this game should be available to the public as of the time of this video being released, which is July 23rd. It's going to be hitting early access on Steam, so if you like what you see, check out the description below. There should be a link to the store page itself. What is Better Late Than Dead, you're probably asking? It's a very good question. It is a survival single-player action-adventure game, and I'm already aware. I've already mentioned two of the big sins that you could kind of commit right here, and that is early access and survival game. I know what you're thinking. Another early access survival game? Gee, somebody alert the press, how new and original. And believe me, I share your overly enthusiastic sarcasm when it comes to early access survival games. Better Late Than Dead is actually not trying to compete with your DayZs, your Rust, your The Forest, your Ark, Survival, etc., etc. It's definitely a game that has a main focus on a single-player adventure. There's a really big mystery behind Better Late Than Dead. You actually roam around, try to find notes that actually kind of piece the story together as to what's happening in this land that you kind of crash land into. And we'll get more into that pretty soon. So, all that said and done, let's get into the game over here and actually show you what it's all about. There's going to be a bit of a cutscene to start off the game itself. Again, there's a big emphasis on story, and it's up to you to figure out what's happening in this weird island. And that's all I'm going to say about this island for now.
As the boat leaves, the sound of its engines are scarred into my memory. I broke free from my coffin. The moment that followed lasted an eternity. Who am I? I can use this. I need to get out of here.
Alrighty guys, and as we land over here on this island, I'm actually really interested to find out what the backstory is behind. As we can imagine, our dude has amnesia, has no idea who he is. This right here is what he was tossed into the sea, and luckily enough, we made it over here. So there's a really big air of mystery in the game just because of that alone. If I had to compare it to anything, it would probably be something like the Island of Dr. Moreau, mixed with a little bit of Lost in there, the television show. And I'm not talking about like the crazy stuff that happened in Lost down the line, but the initial sense of mystery as to what's going on in this island itself. Right now, I'm just over here just picking up some items that you initially have access to when you first crash land over here. We will be checking out that body here pretty soon, and there's also a note. These notes are going to be really important to actually flesh out the story of Better Late Than Dead for you, because as I mentioned, it's really a single-player experience with survival elements thrown in here. The note reads, I can create prepared leaves ideal for crafting special types of items. Simply add leaves, cut, and tie. And that's going to be a recipe, and the recipe is going to be actually really interesting in this game because it's still something I'm trying to get my head wrapped around, but I will explain it pretty shortly. I don't want to open this over here, which is apparently a corpse in a bag, and you'll be seeing a lot of these as we go along over here. So, really quickly, let's go into our item menu and just show off what's happening over here. This is what we just picked up just now. A few bottles of water. We should equip some of these now, so I will. You can go over here to my number 1 slot, and then water, number 2 slot. Now, the crafting over here is going to be really important. These right here will be elements that you could throw into your items themselves to make things happen with. And it's kind of up to you to find out what these recipes are going to be by finding notes such as this one. A lot of notes will actually be like story and lore related, but there's going to also be some notes like this one that would tell you recipes down the line. Now, this tree over here, I already think I shook it before we even started recording right now the gameplay itself, but let me run over here really quickly. There's going to be an interesting mechanic when it comes to these trees, which I find like this right here wasn't even explained to me early on. I just kind of stumbled upon this by myself. But one of the recipes that we just got right now mentioned leaves, correct? When I initially took this for a test run myself, I had no idea what leaves it was talking about. I was running around trying to cut down grass, trees with my knife. I had no idea what it was talking about, but as you can see over here, shaking this tree just as I did, will actually drop down more coconuts and also some leaves. Now let's go ahead and pick these up here really quickly. We added some leaves to our inventory. Now if we go into the inventory itself now, we go to crafting. What did the thing say? Leaves, cut them down and then tie them up. You would essentially have to throw the leaves over here along with this action and tying itself. Now we can cut because we obviously need a blade, so we'll have to keep an eye out for a knife for one. but that's something that I really wanted to mention because it doesn't really mention it to you anywhere that I'm aware of, at least with the time I've had with it so far, unless there's like a manual that I'm not really here finding. But yeah, it can be really cryptic about that initially. But again, the game is 0.12 alpha. It's really, really early on in development, so keep that in mind. Other things that I will talk about that are also going to be something that people will be complaining about, I'm pretty sure, down the line. I can already see it in Steam. The performance is not really optimal. It's not really good. Right now, it's running pretty fine at 60, but once I start getting into the jungle itself, I'm going to start dropping around 45 frames, more than likely. And that's not because I'm recording, because I usually have no problem recording a single game and dropping frames in the process, but whenever I get into the forest, even when I'm not recording, I will drop frames significantly. And again, that could be the fact that the game is early access. They're still going through the optimization thing, but I could already see that being an issue early on. Right now, I'm just shaking down trees to find a few more of these leaves, because we might as well grab them, because I'm pretty sure we'll need quite a few down the line. So right now, we're fine. Now, let me show off this over here. If I hit tab, it'll highlight these things. It's called perception mode. I like to personally call it detective mode from the Batman Arkham series itself. It's really interesting. At least it'll tell you what's around you. And you know what? Sometimes something like that is actually really beneficial in games because, at least I personally tend to miss easy things, especially when I'm over here doing commentary and recording at the same time. So honestly, something like that's actually a really godsend for me. So I'm over here just doing perception. Why that requires stamina to be used, though, as you can see over here in my bar, no idea, but you definitely do require stamina for it. I also found an oil bottle over here. Now, as you can see, we're limited to what we can carry. We could stack a few items, but not everything, so we'll definitely have to start doing some item management down the line. I'm going to open this up over here really quickly and find an old key, and that's going to be useful pretty soon. Normally, when you start this game off, you have, at least what I've experienced so far, two places that you oh, nice, a knife already. Two places that you actually usually crash land in. This is one of them, and this is the ideal one. The other one that you crash land in is a little bit more risky because there's enemies right off the bat, and there's obviously going to be enemies. Now, enemies in this game are going to be like zombies or any sort of, you know, creepy crawlies that way, at least to my knowledge so far. Most of the enemies that I've actually run into is just nature. The elements, rain, getting sick from the rain, avoiding big game like bears, crocodiles, things of that nature. So it's really realistic in that sense. But again, there's also an overwhelming, foreboding fear that there's something going on in this, I guess, deserted island. Over here we can see a shack, right? Yeah, we'll probably go... That's not the shack. It's right there. That's a pile of rocks. Or not really rocks, probably like a mountain of some kind. Now, I'm doing my perception mode over here, and I found myself some bandages, which are going to be pretty useful. And what is this? More bandages? Great. Pick those up. Now, we can check out these things out over here, but an old bag with nothing inside. So, unless you actually see something shining, more than likely you're not going to find anything in those suitcases most of the time. So right now, I'm considering going down to this shack over here, crossing this water, which you could just swim across. But before we decide to go over there, I think it's probably more ideal to come down this way. And already my frames are dropping around to 40. So, you know, I don't think it's going to be too noticeable on the video. But if you're playing the game, you'll probably see a little bit of a notice. So, again, keep that in mind. Hopefully optimization is one of the first things they work on. So I'm going to keep running down over here for now, and again, big trees like this one you can't shake down, believe me, I tried. I'm not sure if later on you probably get an axe, you're able to make an axe or whatever, but for now, big trees like that are kind of unavailable to you. Now, speaking of the elements and the enemies, there should be some... Oh, there's not. That's actually intriguing, so I guess this actually randomizes every single time you play. Or not. Alright, as you can hear, music is actually starting up over here. Which means something no good is happening and something, you know, creepy is coming around. Now, what should be here that I wanted to show off was actually a fucking bear. I've seen this bear twice. One time he was just dead, and the other time he was over here just guarding this area. Luckily for us, he's not dead, nor here, so I'll just pick up this lighter. And there's another knife over here. I already have a knife, so I'll just hold on to what I have because, again, actually, you know what, let me take it with me. And I'll try to drop it off in an area where it's a bit more safer, just in case that bear decides to come back over here. Now, one of the few things I got to talk about is that bothers me as well as the stamina management. As you can see, I've been running, so my stamina has been building up, so once that fills up completely, I won't be able to run anymore. Now, just walking is not enough to actually bring that bar down. You have to literally stop to get your stamina back, which I guess makes sense. If you get tired, normally you would stop doing whatever you're doing and actually regain some energy. But at the same time, I'm allowed to shake down trees this way, and as you can see, my stamina is still going down, even though I'm exerting my strength to move this fucking immovable object over here as a regular human being. So, you know, something like that, I would like the stamina bar to actually go down when you're just walking. It would make it a lot easier and not really break the immersion in the gameplay going forward. We got a little bit more leaves over here. Great. Let me go and pick these up. Oh, by the way, since we have a knife now, let's actually... That's not the knife. This is a knife. No, but, you know, jokes aside. Let's go into... Did I just hear ducks? Ducks? Quack? Quack? I feel like I'm part of the Mighty Ducks right now. Anyway, let's go into the crafting menu. Right now, I don't think we'll be able to craft anything because we're actually overloaded in items. So what I'm going to do here really quickly is just drop this knife. Let's go into crafting and show off some of this here, what I meant. So, remember our recipe was leaves, cut them down, and then tie them up to make leaves that you could actually use for recipes down the line. So let me add this to our crafting menu over here. We will do cut, and we will do tie. And this should create leaves prepared, which you could then actually make fires with if I'm correct over here. So what might as well do is to get some more room back is just add all these bad boys in there. Another feature I would like is actually just a mass production type of item over here. Oop, wrong order. My bad. Remove. And boom. Alrighty, so those are out of the way now. Great. Let's go ahead. That bottle was empty. You're probably thinking since it's empty, don't take it. Especially because we're so low on inventory space, but I'm going to take it with me for now, because there's something I want to do with it pretty soon and I want to show off over here. Let me just go ahead and pick this up as well. Let's continue going downwards. You can see over here we see some houses already, which is actually really ideal because I want to get more into the single-player experience of what Better Delete Than Did is actually all about here. And again, it's a really big emphasis on single-player as opposed to just your typical multiplayer bash of a survival game over here. And I love every time you come into like some sort of like, you know, abandoned surrounding like this, there's this ominous music that just starts playing, and I really like that. It's really good to the atmosphere. There's going to be some weird graphical glitching going on over here again. I believe that's because it's early access, but I can't really tell for a fact. Maybe it's just conflicting with my graphics card. I'm not sure, but there's definitely some things that have to be looked into pretty soon. Let's open this up over here. We'll find another knife. We already have two of those. What I could do now is, since we're here and it's relatively safe here to my knowledge in the past, I'm going to drop this knife over here as well and just kind of keep them together. Right? Yeah, both of them will be hanging out right there. So we have a little bit of a knife chest going on over here. This is going to be some cloth. And what you can do with clothing is actually tear it down to make some more bandages. And since we have two of them, there's no reason why we shouldn't. However, we could also make some torches with this if I find a recipe, because I don't really know it off the top of my head. So I'll keep an eye out for that one. Alrighty, we're stacked up to the gills in terms of items though, so that's going to be a problem. Let me go ahead and just stack up the rest of these over here. Great, and we have another note over here. This will be the very first story-related one that you could probably run into, I want to say. I don't know what to do. There is something watching, I can feel it. I know there is something here, what can I do? I don't even know how long I've been stuck here for. Please, if you read this, come and find me. I was still reading that. I plan to reach the highest point of the island and will wait at midday and hope that someone finds this note. Stay safe and stay smart. Alrighty, so that's our first clue as to what the hell's going on over here. Now, whether that person is really there, wherever they say they're supposed to be at in this version of the game right now, because it's early access, it's really beyond me. I haven't reached that point just yet. I haven't played really too far in, so I can't really say for now. There's a few more bodies over here, and again, I don't want to open this. Great. So, let me do my detective mode over here just to make sure we're not missing anything too obvious. The nighttime can be a little bit more difficult to see. I like it more at day because you can definitely see more. I mean, the game isn't really graphically advanced or anything like that. It's really kind of basic in reality, as you can see. But it does look a lot better in daytime. Huh, there's no water bottle here. There should have been an empty one right there before. I guess the loot kind of changes as we go along. So right now we're going to find this door over here, which I cannot open initially, as you can see. Now, you can open this, however, with the old key that we do have over here. So let me just equip this here momentarily. Yeah, that's fine. And let's get out of this menu. Pop this open. Excuse me, my friend. Use the key. There you go. And you'll find more of these as you go along, and they're going to be useful to open up shacks like this. Which... It's not opening it up now? Wow, this completely randomizes then. That key used to open this door up easily before without any questions asked. Unless... Wait a minute. Alrighty guys, I went ahead and I reloaded my save just because I wasn't so comfortable with the idea of this key suddenly not working for this door where it's always worked beforehand. So let me try this out again just out of curiosity, because I'm pretty sure the door should be open with this key. There you go. So maybe I just wasn't in the right spot for it. That's kind of weird. Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter. At least we got it under control, which is what I was really worried about. Let's open this up here really quickly and we'll do our detective mode over here. Just Bruce Wayne, Batman this shit up. We had some more clothing. We'll read that note here pretty shortly. But I want to pick up the items here first. I feel like we have so much clothing going on right now. Let's go ahead and open this up here really quickly. And boomski. We have... Oh, surprise, surprise. More clothing. And what's the other item that we have here? Is that a lighter? Another lighter. Okay. We're gonna have to do some management here pretty soon, but let's read this letter here really quickly. If you can read this, I may be dead. If not, look behind you. Ha! Just joking. But seriously, I hope I'm not dead. I spotted someone looking at me at night, but I don't know who it is. If it was you, let me know. I wasn't done reading, game. Right here, I will come back and maybe we can talk? That's just fucking creepy, somebody staring at you at night. It's one of the most, I guess, eerie things that I could pretty much imagine, you know, just being watched while you're not looking to be watched, especially if you're sleeping. You're such in a defenseless position, you know, it's just so weird. Anyway, we have read some notes, and I'm gonna dump some items off over here. We will wrap it up here for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up, leave a like to support us, mean a lot. If you like the game, check out the description below. There should be a link to the store page itself, and we will continue going forward just for a few more episodes at the very least, and show you a bit more as we go along here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will catch you next time.